So let's talk about the energy themes for October 2025. So as I was saying earlier, I feel like something has been lifted off after this eclipse portal after September. And so the theme is actually a question, something for you to reflect on. Is there anything that just feels like it was lifted off after that eclipse? And if so, what is it? Some of you might be in a space where after the eclipse, after September, you're getting a lot of clarity on your path, while some of you might feel like you're in a void. So if you're on the side that's getting a lot of clarity, then this is the time for you to take inspired action. It's the best type of action when you receive the clarity and you feel inspired to take a step further. Even if it's a small one, every step counts because you just want to get things moving. You want to bring motion to the energy. If you're feeling like you're more in that void space, I know sometimes it feels uncomfortable to stay in that void, but just really accept it and stay in stillness, nurture patience and trust, because this is oftentimes, um, I want to say always, a space of creation, right? Everything in the universe is created from the void, this whole galaxy. So if you're feeling that you're in that space of the void, there's something being created behind the curtains, that's going to be birthed after you come out of this space. Some of you might also feel called to do a spring cleaning or clearing. I know for most of you who are in the most of you are in the northern hemisphere, so you're going you are in the fall. The equinox was into the fall. I am in the southern hemisphere, so I'm in spring, and we sometimes feel like we want to just clear any things but I feel like that could be general just because, after every energetic purging or clearing like the eclipse was, like September was or may have been, you may feel called to do some actual physical cleaning or some kind of detox of food or drinks or even social media. I know that I've personally been called to do actually like some cleaning every now and then. It's really good to do that because it's just it's a way for you to make more room for new things to come into your life. So oftentimes we do that energetically, but we also need to do that in the physical as well. And the prompt for this theme is just to reflect on how you're feeling after the month of September, the eclipse portal, which we've talked about in the beginning. Think about the emotions that you've been feeling more recently, any visions and clarity that you're receiving. How can you be more compassionate and patient towards yourself in your life if you're feeling like you're more in that void space or still feeling a little bit of that turbulence? And that's also related to the next theme, which is about dream. Dream work has been more active. I know, and I speak for me personally, during, I want to say maybe like a couple of weeks before the eclipse, I wasn't sleeping very well. My sleeping pattern was very off. And I was still dreaming a lot because I do a lot of dream work and I dream a lot, but my sleeping pattern was off. And then right after, like on the day of the eclipse, I slept like a baby. And then since then, I've been having a lot of vivid dreams. So some of you might be having more vivid dreams after the eclipse. Some of you might be even having lucid dreams as well. And it's a way for you to get messages. So if your intention is to get clarity, you might get some clarity in some messages via dreams. You might get signs through dreams. And a lot of star seeds, a lot of light workers, specifically light workers, are being called to step into their power. And it's almost as if you've been trained in the dream plane. But I put trained in quotes because it's more of a remembering of your mission, a remembering of your purpose, a remembering of why you're here, why your soul chose to incarnate here. And even like myself, I've been having lots of dreams that were signs that were just telling me like this is the next phase in your purpose. So I've been having lots and lots of dreams that I'm in a school, that I'm either teaching or teaching teachers and observing children. So I mean that's very meaningful to me because I've been doing quite a lot of work with Lightworkers as well to help them step into their power. And a lot of encounters as well. So a lot of souls, both incarnate and not, have been meeting each other in the astral realm. That could mean something. That could be just a message for them or from them to you. Sometimes it's not a message from that person per se. Sometimes the person is just actually not the person, is just someone that you projected, but that reminds you of something. Sometimes it's related to their names as well. And so the prompt is to keep a dream log, and you might want to choose to have a dream log for forever, for your life, or just this month, or just the next couple of months, because this really helps you to integrate what's happening in the dream. I keep a dream log, but I don't write it every day. I only write when I have dreams that are, meaningful, that I either that I want to remember or that I just want to integrate more and understand more. So take some time before you fall asleep to set the intention. So that's a tip. And take some time as you wake up to remember and maybe filter the messages from the dreams. I usually take a little bit of time to wake up because I'm just trying to like remember the dreams. So these are some intentions that you can use. So you can just before you fall asleep, you can say, tonight I will dream, and upon awakening, I will remember what I need to remember. Actually, so I did write this. The what I need to remember, because sometimes we dream a lot, but you don't actually need to remember everything. So just set the intention and trust that whatever you remember, it's because you're meant to remember, or you're meant to receive that information, and trust that if you don't remember, it's because you don't need that information, or you don't need that information right now. And then trust that it will come to you, either in another dream or as a download or as an insight. You can also say, so like I said, a lot of light workers do a lot of work in the dream state. And this is something that we've talked about here before, in our channeled sessions as well, because some of us feel like we've slept, but then we wake up and we're kind of tired because it feels like we've done a lot of work in the dream plane. So one thing that the Pleiadians said once is the spirit guides, the spirit beings, they're not in the body, so they don't know how tired we are, how much we need to rest physically, or emotionally or mentally. So it is our job to just be aware of our physical body. And if you need to rest, you can just say, tonight I'm available. Well, this the third one actually. Tonight, I need to rest my physical body and replenish my energies. Thank you for your understanding. So it's really just like a conversation of saying, like, tonight, I just really need to rest. And if there's very urgent work, you can count on me, but I really need to rest. But most nights, I actually say tonight I'm available to work in the astral and the higher dimensions. I call upon Archangel Michael. I call upon Archangel Michael. You can call upon any other being that you feel connected to protect me and to guide me through my dreams in the astral. So you're making yourself available to help other souls and to work in the astral realm. Let me know in the chat if this is if you're someone who's resonating with this, if you dream a lot. And when you awaken, upon awakening, try to recall your dreams. So, like I said, spend a little bit of time remembering them, or just thinking, is there a message for me or for others? And the most important question that you want to ask is, what was I feeling in those dreams? Because sometimes we try to remember the visions, the sounds, the texture, whatever it is, the people. And then the first thing that we think is, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's really crazy, right? But the question that you want to ask is, how was I feeling in those dreams? And the feeling is going to tell you the message. The feeling is your guidance, because you could be having a dream that looks a little negative, but if you were feeling centered and calm and strong and sovereign, whatever it is, then that's a good dream. And it could be the other way around too. You could be in a place that looks like heaven and you might be very worried or in a rush. And so that will tell you as well the message. All right, next theme, sovereignty. As always, we'll talk a little bit about sovereignty. Sovereignty asks us to take responsibility. So this is another layer of sovereignty. So every month we or every other month we talk about sovereignty and we're like exploring different layers, different facets of sovereignty. So one thing that came up for this month is that sovereignty asks us to take responsibility for our choices and also for what has happened in our lives. Because if we keep on blaming others or blaming the situation or just looking at what happened to us and then we're actually operating in the opposite state of consciousness to sovereignty, which is the victimhood consciousness. And we've all been there. We might be there, but it's just the awareness of and shifting that narrative. So remembering that we have our free will, and free will is part of being a sovereign being. And then again, shifting the narrative, shifting the questions as well that we ask, and just noticing, again, with compassion, without judgment, but noticing in ourselves, where are we playing the victim or where are we operating in that victimhood consciousness, that victim consciousness, and how can we move into that sovereignty consciousness that takes responsibility and that, make the choice to shift the narrative, to heal and to connect with the heart and let the heart lead the way because sovereignty is very much related to the heart. So here are some examples of shifts or narrative shifts that we can think about. This is a very classic one that you probably have heard, shifting from or what happened to me or these things happened to me to this happened for me, for my evolution, for my growth, for my expansion. Same things like this is out of my control and shifting to remembering that free will is my power, that I have the power to shift that with my choices. Yes, there are things that happen that you didn't want it to happen, that you could perceive as this is out of my control. But when you become sovereign, you start changing the narrative and understanding that you have the power to shift the narrative, to shift the story that you've been telling yourself. Also, when we're, healing, we tend sometimes to identify with your wounds, with your past traumas, and even past life identity. So it's going from identifying yourself to those things to acknowledging that those things are data for your present life. So your past wounds, your traumas, your past lifetimes are data for your present. So how can you make a different choice today that will heal the past, but will also heal the present? And shifting the questions as well, that's a big question, right? When we say, why am I here? And depending on the tone there could be especially that I think for star seeds and I've been there too where you're like why am I here, like why did my soul choose to be here? I could have been in the stars, right? So that is not a very empowering question if that's the intention or the tone, like why am I here, I wish I wasn't here, like this is still in that victim consciousness. So you can shift that from how does my being contribute to the overall frequency of the planet and the collective. So you're again owning your being, owning your frequency, taking responsibility and understanding that you're here for a reason, that your soul, yes, has chosen to be here. And because you're here, you're powerful because you can contribute to the overall frequency of the planet and the collective by being that sovereign self, by taking responsibility, by healing, by expanding, by shifting. Okay, so you are powerful in that because your being is here. And so when you look within, when you connect with your heart, when you expand your consciousness, you are really contributing to the collective, to the overall frequency of the planet and the collective. And a prompt is to reflect on other narratives that you've been telling yourself that need to shift, as well as that attachment to certain identities that you use to perceive yourself. So you can, if you want to spend some time on this theme and journal your findings, and then write new narratives and new beliefs and new affirmations. So, maybe you've been telling yourself that, you have this abandonment wound. And then maybe shift that. What is this teaching you, or what has that taught you so far? How can you use that thing that happened to inspire others, to help others? Okay, so this is a really good one that I encourage you to reflect on later. The next theme is the split is getting more palpable. And when I talk about the split, some people talk about the shift or the event of that 3D planet into 5D planet, 5D ascension. I call it the split in quotes because sometimes we think that the split is going to happen overnight. It's like going from one year into the other. Hey, Happy New Year, it's like Happy New Earth. But it's not like that, right? It's something that is already happening. So the split or the shift is already happening, but it's not something that happens overnight. But what I feel collectively, and you might be feeling too. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're feeling this, that your perception of the reality, because your own perception of reality is changing, you can also observe how the separation, how this split is happening on the collective, because the realities are merging, right? So imagine realities are just a bunch of timelines, and some of them are merging, some of them are crumbling. Some of the old realities or old timelines, if you will, they are crumbling. They're being released. And there is a mass awakening happening. And so you might be looking at those signs everywhere. Perhaps it's with family or friends. Perhaps it's on social media or in your work. You will be seeing more of these signs everywhere if your awareness is switched on to that. Souls leaving, souls incoming as well. So that could be something that you might notice. I mean, obviously, this is always happening, but it could be that you're looking at it from that perspective as well, of souls leaving the planet, new souls coming. That's again just the natural part of the process of evolution, but you might feel like, certain people, they have fulfill their purpose. And some new beings are coming and they have a different software, they have a different frequency. And so that's also a sign of the split getting more palpable. And obviously, with the split, because again, these old realities are crumbling, we're letting go of a lot of things. A lot of souls are moving out of the planet and the dimension. So there is grief energy. Okay. But just remember that something the Pleiadians always say too is that grief can be a catalyst and a fuel for transformation, can be a catalyst for awakening, and a fuel for transformation as well. Because at the end of the day, grief is the part of the process of something that has ended and something that's beginning, right? Whether it's a life on earth that has ended, and then there's another cycle for that soul and also for the person, for the people that stay here. Um, but it's a new beginning, because that's just a natural part of what happens in the universe. Nothing ends and nothing begins out of nowhere. Things end so that new things can begin. And so when you look at the split, like from these lenses, you understand that cycles are ending and cycles are beginning all the time. And that again can be in our lives, in our personal lives, but it can also be in the universe. Okay, new stars are being birthed, and black holes are being birthed as well. So the affirmation is not a prompt, it's an affirmation that you can use. I am the new earth. I co-create my reality. I am responsible for my frequency and my consciousness. I am contributing to the ascension of the collective through my healing, through my transformation, and my being. I'm not alone. I am you. You are me. We are one. You're not alone. And next, that could be related to that as well. There's this energy of hope. And I love this picture too because it's like the least um I just love the flower, being like blossoming from this dry piece of wood in a kind of desert beach. It's like there's hope. There's hope blossoming. And I know some of you might be like, well, I'm not so sure. Like if you look outside, if you watch the news, or if you just start thinking about what's happening in the world, it's like how is this possible, right? But it's something too that you need to nurture within yourself. It's an energy that is present because the ascension is becoming more palpable. Hope is an energy that fuels the shift and transformation. So we need to have hope. Um, and I feel personally too that hope is inviting you to trust as well. It's like hope and trust are like walking hand in hand, and I feel like trust is that friend that is always like, no, let's go, right? And hope is like, okay, let's go, let's see what's on the other side. So I will say that for me, I feel like hope is connected to trust as well. And so you may be feeling more hope in your personal life and or for the collective, and if not, then that's a really good moment to think and reflect. What can you do to bring this energy more into your life? Because it's an energy that again can fuel your transformation, can fuel the shift, can push you into the next cycle. So a prompt that I offer is, how's my hope tank? Is it filled? Can I fill it up? And what can I do to bring and embody more of this energy within me and consequently around me too? Because hope is an energy that has this ripple effect as well. Yes, some people might repel to this energy if they're really far from feeling hope. They might just feel like you're delusional. But if you bring that energy within yourself and you embody that energy too, this will definitely have a ripple effect. And lastly, we've been doing this year this series that I'm calling Christ Consciousness series, or the remembering Christ consciousness. And every month I bring a theme around Christ consciousness, and the one that came up this month, and it's related to today's message, in case you haven't checked on the Bleeding channel, my Instagram channel, is the union between you and the Creator. Because when we're talking about Christ consciousness, we're also talking about oneness and unity consciousness. And so unity, again, reminds us that we are merging a lot of these polarities within us. So the feminine and the masculine, the ego and the soul, the human and the spirit, and also you and the creator. So you're bringing more harmony or more union between you as a creation, as a divine creation, and the connection with the creator, the source. So just know that you are a divine creation because source created you, but you're not separate from source. So you are a divine co-creator. So that's also related to the sovereignty theme that we talked about. So the message says everything is a co-creation between you and the universe. You are a spark of the source, not separate from the creator. Therefore, you are a divine creation as well as a divine co-creator. You are constantly co-creating with the many forces in the universe through your thoughts, through your emotions, your frequency, your intention, and action. Most importantly, your being is a conduit for light and love. You are the embodiment of the universe. As I always say, we're working from macro to micro, as above, so below, as within, so without. Remember, when you say things as I trust the universe, you're also saying that you trust your inner guidance and your capacity to create that which your heart desires. You are the universe. You are a co-creator. So even when we say things, I like that point. When we say things like I trust the universe, or the universe is preparing something for me or orchestrating something for me. Yes, that's true, but just remember that you're part of that. You're part of that arrangement, you're part of that orchestration. So it's not a passive thing of you praying and meditating and then it happens, right? Just remember that if you are the universe manifested into this physical multidimensional being, so when you say I trust the universe or the universe is arranging things, then well, you are too. So the only difference is that because we've been um, led by the ego for many years, we believe that we do things, we create things, and then as we awaken spiritually, we understand that there are higher forces. But then the other side of that is sometimes we just feel like they're doing all the work for you. And now we're uniting all of the forces, including your own. And so the prompt is an affirmation. I am a divine creation and divine co-creator. I am the universe. Keep repeating that and remind yourself of that whenever you feel powerless or you feel like you're giving your power away, or you're just waiting for something to happen. Just know that you have the power to create because everything you're doing is a co-creation. And these are the themes. Let me know in the chat or in the comments below, which one has resonated most with you. So we had number one, what was lifted off after the eclipse, question mark. Dream work has been more active. Number three, sovereignty asks us to take responsibility. Number four, the split is getting more palpable and hope is more present. And then the union between you and the creator.